Hello guys, today I managed to get Toji Monarch, and his familer and memoria. By the way, his memoria has jack of all. I will break down his kit and explain what it does. First, his passive is basically the following. He removes shide on attack. When there are no buffs present on this unit, he gains 50% bonus damage, and he has an ability, which allows him to swap between two modes. Chain Blitz, which turns him into a cone AoE, good for crowd control. Additionally, this is the default mode, but if you use his ability he will turn into Domain Breaker, turning AoE to small circle, but he gets more range and more boss damage, turning him into a boss killer. Let's get into his familer passive. First passive is Absent Father, true, which makes him do 4000% damage. Is that why dad leaves their family to get 4000% damage buff? Anyways, his second passive stats that anything this unit breaks a shield and basically nukes that enemy depending on how many shields he had. Last familer passive says that his ability unlocks on placements. When you use Domain Breaker, the small AoE one, he removes 50% overshield. Applies Nullify, which removes any Nullify enemy debuffs. He inflicts Rupture, now making the opponent unable to heal forever, and he does 500% damage to a boss. Yes, 500%, which is crazy. When you use Chain Blitz mode, the cone AoE, he will do random attacks non-stop. Now let's move on to his memoria. First passive basically says if this unit attacks a shielded enemy, that whole attack will do 50% more damage. Second passive stats that anytime this unit toggles mode he will gain 50% more damage for 60 seconds. So the rundown is use Chain Blitz mode, which is good for crowd control as he attacks non-stops. And when a boss spawns, switch to Domain Breaker, which will make him do 500% more damage to boss and seal his healing. Basically he's jack of all and master of all. Again, you don't want to apply buff to him unless it's over 50% damage buff. But you can get around this by using Wounded, which doesn't buff his damage but instead makes the enemy take more damage. Since he is unbound unit, him plus Broly equals Kaboom. So let's test this combo against a boss.